Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome to Partnerships for Profit. Today we are joined by William Trey Underwood, an attorney and the founder of the Underwood Law Firm. William, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
And can you start off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Underwood Law Firm?
Sure, yeah. I started practicing in 2007. When I first got out of law school, I worked in the district attorney's office for a couple of years, getting some courtroom experience. And then I left there and went in with my dad, who had a small injury firm in Southwest Georgia, and worked with him for a couple of years, and have been on my own since 2010. And we handle a lot of workers' comp cases for injured workers, and do a lot of car wreck cases as well.
So when clients come to Underwood Law Firm, what are some of the, kind of problems and pains that they're experiencing that you're helping them navigate and helping them guide through?
Yeah, absolutely. We, it depends if it's, whether it's a car wreck or workers' comp, but, in workers' comp cases in Georgia, there are a lot of issues getting medical treatment approved. That's something we're continuously fighting about with carriers. It could be something as simple as physical therapy or an MRI, getting all that authorized. Surgery, of course, is kind of one of the main things we end up fighting about, because that costs the carriers a lot more money. So when people have their surgeries denied, that's something we deal with a lot. And just getting checks started, getting the weekly checks started, and or negotiating a settlement. If a lot of people don't, fortunately have not been in the workers' comp arena before, haven't had a work injury. So when they get approached by the insurance carrier about a settlement, they understandably want some guidance on that. And then the car wrecks, those often it's, people know they're going to be going up against an insurance company, so they want to have somebody in their corner, and they don't know what to do. Same thing with treatment and what all types of avenue of recovery may be available to them. So we identify all the potential insurance sources of recovery or otherwise, and try to maximize the recoveries for them.
When people are dealing with the insurance companies, are there any sort of, widespread myths that people hold, you find, when it comes to dealing or interacting with the insurance companies that you could dispel?
Yes.
Or I guess you could even rephrase that. Are there any major mistakes that you see people making when it comes to dealing with the insurance companies?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. One thing that popped out at me when you asked that question, it's not necessarily dealing with the at-fault driver's insurance carrier, but just kind of a common myth that we see a mistake they make is that they don't want to use their health insurance for injury-related treatment. There's no problem with doing that. I would encourage anybody to use your health insurance, because if there's a settlement later with a third party carrier, it's going to end up putting more money in your pocket with your health insurance paying some of those bills rather than the whole balance being out there. Another thing a common mistake we see people make is in Georgia, there's a coverage on, and I think a lot of states have it, uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage. It's an optional coverage here, so people don't have to purchase that coverage, but if they do, they pay premiums for it to protect them in really just two circumstances. One, if they get hit by somebody who doesn't have any insurance, or two, if they get hit by somebody who doesn't have enough insurance. The minimum liability limits in Georgia are $25,000, so you can imagine, any surgical case, it's going to be worth more than $25,000. So if you don't have underinsured motorist coverage on your policy, you're looking at a maximum potentially $25,000 recovery for something where you may have $100,000 in medical bills. So we are continuously dealing with clients who don't want to notify or use their uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage, and there's no problem with that. In Georgia, there's a statute directly on point where They can't drop you from coverage. They can't raise your insurance premiums because you purchased that coverage to protect you. You're using it due to no fault of your own. It's a first party coverage. So I would advise people, use your health insurance, notify your underinsured or uninsured motorist carrier. There's no harm for you to do that. Those are two things that I think mistakes that people make after they've been in a car wreck.
When somebody is in a car wreck, when somebody is in an automobile accident, what are the first steps that they should be taking immediately afterwards? Is it contact the police, contact your attorney, contact the insurance company? What is the first step?
Yeah, I think, step one obviously is to make sure you're okay, or if you need medical treatment and assistance, call 911 immediately. You want to make sure you're okay, the people in your car are okay. But yes, definitely call 911. Even if it's not something that you don't think is too significant at the time, you want to have an independent source, a report documented. Don't just exchange information with the other party because you don't know who that person is. They could say, they could tell their carrier later, I don't know what this person's talking about. And then you get in the situation there. So you definitely want to call 911, have the police respond, ambulance if necessary, get the report, get it documented. And that would be step one.
Mm. And you are known for bringing sort of a practical client-centered approach to your practice. And I was hoping you could define for our listeners a little bit about what it means for a practice to be client-centered.
Yeah, absolutely. We, I tell my staff here, my first year of law school, all law schools are the same across the country in the sense that all the first year courses are the same. And one of the first year courses that you take is torts. And I remember in law school, you don't have tests as you go. You have one big test at the end of the semester. So you really don't know how you're doing or how you're progressing or what your grade's going to be until the end. And then you take the test and you get your score back a couple of weeks later. So when we came back to torts 2 at the beginning of my second semester of law school, the professor, I remember her saying that, you may not have done as well as you wanted to on the test, but I predict that you will have a successful law practice if you follow this one rule. And that's call your clients back within 24 hours of the time that they call you. So that's something that I think a lot of attorneys just overlook. They think, okay, I'm going to go do the best cross-examination. I'm going to write the best brief, give the best argument. The clients are going to be happy and I don't have to communicate with them. That's not the way I think non-lawyers look at this. I mean, everybody else, you want to make our customers, our clients, they need to feel important and know that, they have a line of communication open to us throughout the whole duration of the case. If their case manager or paralegal can't help them or they're not satisfied with the answer, the lawyers here are always available to get a call scheduled within 24 hours. So we want to make sure that our clients are attended to and communicated with, and not just communicated with, but educated so that they understand the process, that they, a lot of the terminology that may sound foreign to people who don't always have a legal case, like discovery and interrogatories and mediations and depositions. We want our clients to understand what these things are and know, what's happening in their cases and feel comfortable with the process and who they're working with.
When clients come to Underwood Law Firm, is it sort of a one-size-fits-all approach, or is it more so, highly custom tailored to the individual needs of that client in their case?
Yeah, it would definitely be a custom. Everything's customized to fit the particular needs and of every case and client. Because every case is different. I mean, we don't know at what stage we're going to get the case, whether somebody's coming to us 6 months after the injury, immediately after the injury, a year in, 2 years in. We had a lady call today while she was still at the job site, and her employer was trying to get her to sign some forms, and it was a perfect case in point as to why people shouldn't wait to reach out, because the employer was already trying to gain an advantage, having her sign some things and do some things that could have impacted the case. So To answer your question, every case is different, and we're going to attack and form a plan based on what what that particular client presents to us at the beginning of the case.
Before focusing on injury law, you worked as an assistant district attorney. And I'm curious, how did that experience shape the way you advocate for your clients now?
I think it made us not scared of the courtroom. It's it definitely. I could definitely tell in workers' comp that when I first started doing it, that I had an advantage with courtroom stuff compared to a lot of the associates who had just been going around and taking depositions, because it gives you some insight about how evidence is going to be weighed by the court. Whether even with workers' comp, it's just a bench trial with the judge. But once you've presented evidence in a courtroom setting a number of times, I think it just gives you a better feel. It's something you have to get through experience to understand how things are going to look in the courtroom versus how you think they're going to look. I mean, it's something you just really need firsthand experience, I think, to know, and it helps you know, which cases to take to court and which ones to not take to court. I think that's probably some of the good experience that comes with that, and that was good advice that I had from my dad, because he said, once you get into the civil side of things, like with injury work, you just don't have the number of opportunities to go to court. And in the DA's office, there's something just about every day that you could be doing in court, whether it's not necessarily a murder trial or something serious, but arraignments, first appearance, motion hearings. There's always something going on, probation revocations. There's just a big opportunity there to get a lot of experience quickly for a young attorney.
You came back to practice in your hometown of Albany, Georgia. What does serving that particular community mean to you, sort of personally and professionally?
I love Southwest Georgia and Albany, and it's very meaningful for me to be able to be back here and kind of taking over my dad's practice, and I love helping some of the same clients and people that he knew and helped, and it's just an area of the country where I feel comfortable and feel like I understand people's concerns here, and it means a lot to be back here, trying to help this community.
That's awesome. That's really cool. What are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about workers' compensation claims, especially in Georgia?
I think one misconception people have is that injured workers are trying to rip off the insurance company. I mean, give me a break. In Georgia, you have a weekly check that you're getting that's 2/3 of your normal wages. So I don't know anybody who wants to be out of work hurt getting 2/3 of what they normally get. Georgia also has one of the lowest weekly maximum TTD rates in the country. It's capped at $800 per week. So if you're making $2,000 a week and you get hurt when you're out of work in Georgia, you're going to be getting less than 50% of what you normally get. So it's not a system that is geared to benefit the injured worker that much, and so I think that people get a bad rap sometimes. Doctors give injured workers a bad rap, and the insurance companies, but it's not something I would wish on any of my friends or family to be in a workers' comp claim in Georgia.
Yeah. What percentage of the cases you see actually go to trial?
It is a small percentage. It's not nearly as much as it used to be. Speaking of my dad, I mean, his generation, I think that They tried a lot more cases. One of the things that they didn't have the benefit of is the alternative dispute resolution processes that we have in place now.
Right.
I'd say less than 10% of cases end up going to trial.
Wow.
Because mediation is something that is very prevalent these days, and I think most cases, whether they end up in a courtroom or not, probably closer to 100% of cases, if they're not settled informally, end up going to a mediation, and that keeps a lot of cases out of court, because once everybody is able to sit down in a room or close together and have a neutral party kind of take each side's version of events in the case back and forth to one another and help resolve the case, the mediations have really cut down on the number of cases that end up in a courtroom, because I think all sides realize at that point the courtroom's unpredictable, and you may not be getting everything you want in a mediation, but you're getting certainty, and that's something you never get in the courtroom. I don't care how good your case is or how good your lawyer is and all of that.
Right. When you're evaluating a new case, sort of what factors are you looking for that, are signs you're really going to be able to help this person? And are there any red flags that you see where, okay, maybe this is not the client for us?
Yeah. How the client presents himself or herself, whether I believe this person and whether they're being candid with me and forthcoming, because as lawyers, we want to think, oh, everybody's paying attention to us and how good of a job I do or don't do, or if I do everything right. And speaking of the DA's office, I mean, that's something I learned in court. Most people don't care what the lawyers are doing. They're paying attention to the witnesses and the people who are testifying and the evidence. So when I'm evaluating a case, it's how is the client going to present? Do I believe this person? Is the jury going to believe them? Is the judge going to believe them? And so that's one of the number one things I look at. Does their story add up? Is this, and red flags would be, just on the intake paperwork, whether, sometimes people are not, don't they misrepresent things or forget things on the intake paperwork, whether they've had previous injuries and claims and that type of thing. One good sign that I see when I'm evaluating a new case is when clients, when they're talking to me on the phone or in person, and they are very upfront with me about their previous injuries. We do a lot of backs and neck injury cases, and if somebody's forthcoming about previous injuries or any surgeries or things that they've had, that's a good sign to me. They're going to be honest, and the other side's not going to be able to trip them up on things, because we can always distinguish things. If you had a neck surgery 10 years ago and you healed a year after that and you haven't had anything for 5 or 10 years, that's something that's easily distinguishable. If you've now been in a car wreck and rear-ended and you need a new neck surgery, we can distinguish that. What's the problem is if you don't tell us about that or try to hide that, that's when cases blow up.
Yeah. Is there a step that people could take today before they're ever injured to protect themselves legally in case they were to be injured in the future?
I would say purchase as much medical payments coverage and uninsured motorist coverage as you can possibly afford, because those are the only two coverages on an auto policy that protect you and protect the occupants in your car. Every other coverage on an auto policy is designed to protect the car, the other person's car, or the occupants of the other car. So I would say maximize the amount of insurance that you can, whatever you can afford, get as much medical payments coverage and uninsured motorist coverage as you can afford.
And I'm curious, I want to talk a little bit about the tech side of things. I mean, because technology is sort of invading all of these different industries currently. And I'm curious, what role do things like social media posts, text messages, security camera footage, what role do all those things play in the way these cases are handled?
Yeah, social media can play a big role. I mean, that's in our welcome letter to clients to really to stay off social media.
Mm,
You don't want to be, while you have a case pending, at least you don't want to be posting. You don't want to post anything that could jeopardize your case.
right,
I've had probably more than one case get blown up by um, people posting things on social media that are inconsistent with what they're representing to the
right,
insurance companies, and so you want to be very careful about what you post on social media, what you text. I mean, all of
right,
that stuff could be discoverable in the case. And of course, social media is a lot of people have public profiles, so it's anybody can go on there, and that's going to be the first place that the insurance
right,
companies look. They want to see what kind of stuff you're posting, and so all that can play a
right.
big role.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it, oh, I hurt my neck and my back. Here's a pic of me playing basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
See
Yeah,
situations like that. I'm going to
yeah.
throw a big buzzword at you. So be ready. What role does AI play in this field? And do you see it changing the legal industry in the future, or does that change already here?
It's already happening. Yeah, it's faster than we realize. I think it's everybody's trying to figure out how to use it and use it the best, to get an advantage, and yeah, it's changing things, um, you know, too fast. But we're going to have to learn how to
Right.
utilize it, whether we like it or not. Um,
I'm curious because you work in kind of a personal injury space, and all of these cases are highly emotionally charged. I mean, people are hurt, there's trauma. How do you sort of compartmentalize? I mean, is it hard to say those emotions have to stay at work and then I can't bring those heavy emotions home with me? I mean, is it hard to kind of compartmentalize that and not have those emotions affect you personally?
On occasion, I mean, certainly with more catastrophic, severe type cases, it's difficult to not um, overburden yourself with your client's burden, and you really um, want to give it your best all the time, and I think it's something that you just learn to deal better with as you age and get more experience and practice. It's easier to um, to handle that part of it.
Mm. Well, you mentioned it gets easier with age. For young lawyers or law students listening who are interested in plaintiff's work, what sort of skills and habits should they be building and practicing now?
I, with the AI stuff rocking along like it is, I would say it's going to be more important than ever to have the courtroom skill set. Something to distinguish yourself. That's because the AI part of it, I think, is going to be eating up more and more of the paper side of things and motions and contractual type things. So I would say get courtroom experience and learn as much of that as you can.
Mm. When a case is sort of reached a resolution, right? Like when a case is over and you've really helped a family through a tough time, what does success look like beyond just that dollar amount settlement? I know that's kind of a loaded one.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably the most fulfilling part of it is when you can make a meaningful difference for people and know that you've really changed their life for the better and had a positive impact. I mean, those kind of things, the non-monetary things, are really at the end of the day the most fulfilling part of not just law practice, but I think anything we do.
Right. When you think back over your career, and all of the people that you have helped through tough times, all the people that you've really seen positive outcomes for. Is there one that stands out in your mind that you really saw a positive outcome for or transformation in as a result of your help and guidance? And if so, could you share that with our listeners?
Yeah, I think, there's one client who jumps out at me. I haven't spoken to him recently, but he, I think, gave me more credit than I really deserved, said I saved his life. But I think that, speaking of neck surgeries and spine situations and pre-existing conditions, he was a guy who had been in a couple of different car wrecks fairly close together and had seen multiple spine surgeons, was sleeping in a chair at night and just couldn't sleep and was getting the runaround from the insurance companies. And we were able to dive into that case and get the medical part of it sorted out and get with the doctors to build the case that we needed and get the evidence that we needed and get his surgery done. And, I think he was in a bad spot physically. And I think we were able to get a really good result for him in that case. And it really put him back in a good spot financially and alleviated. The surgery was successful and things really just worked out for him.
Wow. I'm curious, everything that you're doing, it's all about helping people. You're really helping people through tough times. You're helping people get, settlements, the justice they deserve. Where does that drive to help others come from? Is that something that is just innate to your character, or is it something you cultivated along the way?
I think it's the example my dad set for me, seeing his dedication and devotion to that and the fulfillment he got from that. I think the selfish part of it, I think that I wanted to feel like I was doing something too, and it is fulfilling, and it's but I think in large part it came from the example that he set for me.
And your father was an attorney as well, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And as we wrap up here, I'm curious, what does it mean to you personally and professionally to sort of carry that legacy forward, that legacy of helping others that your father set forth? What does kind of carrying that mean to you?
It means a lot. Even to this day, I hope that he would be proud of me, and I hope that he would like the job that we're doing, and we're trying to. I think that's something a lot of sons feel like, even when their dads are gone, that you still want to make your dad proud, and so it's meaningful to me to carry on his legacy. I love meeting his own clients and different lawyers and people that he knew, and it's very, very satisfying.
Yeah, that's amazing. That really is. And I'm sure he would be absolutely thrilled with the job that you're doing, helping people through tough times. That's really great.
Thanks. I hope so.
And William, this has been a really insightful, really kind of deep conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. If anybody out there listening could use your help and guidance, could use the help of Underwood Law Firm, where can people find you?
Probably these days, the easiest way to find us would be going to our website, which now we're at don'twait.law, just DONTWAIT.LAW.
Well, William, thank you so much for joining us. This was an awesome conversation.
Well, thank you for having me, and I enjoyed it.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. This has been Partnerships for Profit, presented by LeDuc Entertainment. LeDuc Entertainment for all your podcast needs. William, thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.